Chosen one. Stop for a moment. Yes, you. This isn't coincidence. This isn't just another message floating through your feed. This is heaven confirming what your spirit already knew, but your heart needed to hear. You have passed the test. Most people fail. The silence, the loneliness, the confusion. It wasn't punishment. It was proof. You've walked through hidden battles that nobody knew about. Nights where tears became your prayer language. Days where your heart screamed for clarity, but heaven gave you only quiet. Those moments weren't meant to destroy you. They were designed to reveal what cannot be shaken inside you. Heaven watched while you kept walking, even when the road was invisible. That's what set you apart. Chosen one. You didn't pass because you were the strongest. You passed because you refused to quit. You held on when everything around you told you to let go. You forgave when bitterness begged for a home in your heart. You loved when love wasn't returned. You trusted when trust seemed foolish. The hidden test of heaven is never about talent or power. It's about faithfulness. Do you remember when everything seemed to be taken from you? Relationships, opportunities, stability, what you called loss. Heaven called pruning. God wasn't punishing you, He was preparing you. He stripped away what could not survive your next season, because where you are going, only purity can enter. You had to be refined in the fire so you could carry divine fire. This is the mystery of the chosen ones. The higher the calling, the deeper the testing. You were not overlooked, you were set apart. While others rushed ahead, you were held back for refinement. That pause wasn't rejection, it was calibration. Heaven needed your heart aligned before your hands could build what's next. Every unanswered prayer was a seed of trust. Every delay was a lesson in patience. Every betrayal was a graduation in discernment. You were never abandoned, you were being authenticated. And when heaven tests a soul, it's because that soul carries a mission too great to be ordinary. You were being shaped into a vessel that could hold divine fire without breaking, molded to carry light into places where hope had died. Now your scars shine as proof of sacred endurance. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 2. Remember how the Lord, your God, led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years to humble and test your heart. Would you obey? That verse was written for you. The wilderness was your classroom. The silence was your syllabus. And now, heaven announces your promotion. The test wasn't about proving something to God. It was about revealing something to you, that you carry strength beyond imagination, resilience beyond reason, and faith that moves unseen mountains. Beloved, you thought you were forgotten, but the truth is, you were being studied by heaven. Angels stood watch as you chose light again and again, even when surrounded by darkness. And now the scrolls of heaven record this moment. The chosen one has passed the test. Breathe that in. You passed the heartbreak without turning bitter. You passed the rejection without losing compassion. You passed the silence without losing your song. This is not just endurance, it's evidence. The evidence that heaven can trust you with greater authority. And now, the air around you is shifting. The same God who allowed the test is releasing the blessing. The same silence that once broke you is now about to birth you. Don't rush this moment. Receive it. Let heaven's peace settle on you like dawn after a long night. You've earned this stillness. You've earned this clarity. Chosen one. Your time in the wilderness wasn't wasted, it was sacred. Every lesson, every scar, every lonely prayer built the foundation for what's about to rise from your life. And now heaven whispers, "Well done." If these words echo in your heart, pause and take a prophetic step like this message, so it reaches another chosen one still wandering in their test. Share it so another soul knows their silence has purpose. Comment the number 777 below as a declaration that you have crossed over from testing to triumph. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to stay connected, because heaven isn't done speaking to you through this channel. You passed the test, most people fail. And now, the reward for your endurance is about to unfold in ways that eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. Chosen one, do you remember when the world went silent around you, when every familiar face seemed distant, and every door you once trusted seemed to close? That was the furnace of isolation, the hidden forge where heaven shapes its finest warriors. You thought you were being forgotten, but you were being formed. You mistook the quiet for punishment, but in truth, it was purification. In that solitude, heaven stripped away the noise of distraction, every unanswered call, every ignored message. Every moment where you felt invisible, it was heaven turning down the volume of the world so you could finally hear the whisper of God. What you saw as emptiness was actually sacred space being cleared for revelation. Chosen one, there is a mystery in divine isolation. The furnace doesn't just burn away weakness, it exposes truth. It shows you who you are without applause, who you remain when the stage lights fade. You learn to pray when no one was watching. You learn to stand when no one was clapping. You learn to love when there was no one left to love you back. That's where strength is born, not in the crowd, but in the cave. The furnace of isolation feels cruel while you're inside it. The silence echoes. The stillness stretches, and doubt creeps in like smoke. You question if God has forgotten you, if your calling was an illusion. But chosen one, the silence of heaven is not abandonment, it is incubation. Seeds do not grow in noise, they grow in the quiet soil of surrender. Every great purpose has a season of separation. Joseph was isolated in a prison before stepping into the palace. David was alone in fields before sitting on the throne. Even Jesus withdrew to the wilderness before beginning his ministry. Why would you expect a lesser path? Heaven always conceals what it's about to crown. In those long, unseen days, your heart was being recalibrated. Every disappointment chipped away at pride. Every lonely night refined your dependence on God. You stopped looking for validation from people who could never understand your assignment. You stopped explaining your process to minds too small to contain your vision. In isolation, you learned that divine approval outweighs human applause. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 30, verse 17. But I will restore you to health and heal your wounds, declares the Lord, because you are called an outcast, Sion, for whom no one cares. That is the promise that covers your solitude. What looked like exile was actually preservation. God separated you because he needed to heal you in peace, not in public. The wounds that people mocked were the very places where his light would later shine through. You were called an outcast by men, but you were being claimed by heaven. Chosen one. You have to understand this. Isolation is the bridge between who you were and who you're becoming. You cannot carry old identities into divine destiny. Heaven uses silence as a sword to cut away attachments that would anchor you to lesser things. Every friend that walked away, every connection that dissolved, every opportunity that slipped through your fingers, it was all part of your sacred surgery. There's beauty in the breaking when you know who's holding the pieces. Every tear you cried in the dark watered the soil of your next miracle. Every sigh of exhaustion became a song in the spirit. You learned that your own company, when shared with God, is holy ground. The furnace doesn't just reveal who you are, it reveals who God is. You discovered His voice in the stillness. You learned His rhythm in the waiting. You felt His nearness when there was no one else to turn to. That's why now, even when the world grows loud again, you carry a peace that can't be stolen. Do you see it now? The isolation wasn't punishment, it was promotion disguised as silence. Heaven knew that if you could endure being unseen, you could be trusted to shine without pride. If you could survive being forgotten by men, you could be trusted to be remembered by God. The furnace made you faithful. And now, as you step forward from that hidden season, you carry something unshakable. You no longer need validation, for you have encountered presence. You no longer chase approval, because you've been chosen by divine appointment. The loneliness that once haunted you has become your teacher. The silence that once scared you has become your sanctuary. Chosen one, remember this truth. Isolation is never the end of your story. It is the holy hallway between old chapters and new beginnings. Heaven never leaves you in the fire. It refines you until you reflect its light. You emerged, not empty, but enlightened. Not broken, but reborn. The furnace did not consume you. It consecrated you. And now, the glow on your life is not from what you gained, but from what you lost that was never meant to stay. You are the living proof that solitude with God is not a sentence, it's a sacred invitation. Chosen one. You still remember the sting of betrayal, don't you? The way trust shattered in your hands like glass, cutting you even as you tried to hold it together. You asked, why them? Why now? But what if heaven allowed betrayal not to break you, but to build your discernment? What if the very hands that hurt you were the chisels that shaped your wisdom? Betrayal was the hidden gateway, the narrow passage into a higher understanding of love and truth. You thought it was meant to destroy you, but it was meant to deliver you from illusions, from attachments, from the blindness of misplaced loyalty. Every dagger in your back pushed you closer to destiny. The pain that once poisoned you has now become the proof of your purification. Chosen one. Heaven doesn't expose what it won't heal. When God allows someone to betray you, it's never because He delights in your suffering. It's because He's revealing what couldn't go with you into your next chapter. Betrayal removes counterfeit connections, no matter how familiar they felt. It cuts away the false so the true can finally appear. You see, many walked with you when you had nothing to give but everything to share. They celebrated you until your growth outshined their comfort. The moment your light started to reveal their shadows, they turned. It hurt, but it was necessary, because if they could leave, they were never meant to stay. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 17. But the Lord stood at my side and gave me strength, so that through me the message might be fully proclaimed and all the Gentiles might hear it. That's the truth behind your survival. When others walked away, God stood beside you. When betrayal emptied the room, heaven filled it with presence. You thought you were alone. But the very moment betrayal pushed you to your knees was when you stood tallest in the spirit. Every tear you shed over their disloyalty watered the soil for your promotion. Every wound became an entrance for divine light. You learned to bless even those who betrayed you, not because they deserved forgiveness, but because you refused to let bitterness stain your destiny. Chosen one. The betrayal was never random. It was scheduled. It was the final proof that your heart could be trusted with greater influence. God had to make sure that when power came, you wouldn't use it for revenge, but for redemption. You might not realize it yet, but betrayal unlocked your authority. You stopped needing validation from broken people. You stopped chasing love that required you to beg. You stopped apologizing for your light. The betrayal broke your dependence on approval, and that was the liberation heaven was waiting for. Now you carry discernment in your spirit. You can feel motives before they speak. You can sense deceit before it moves. Betrayal sharpened your perception. It trained your spirit to recognize truth, not just comfort. Chosen one. Every Judas serves a purpose. Without betrayal, there is no resurrection moment. Without deception, there is no divine revelation. Without the kiss of falsehood, there is no crown of truth. You were never their victim. You were heaven's investment. The betrayal didn't end your story. It confirmed your anointing. So when you look back, don't curse the pain. Thank it. Because without it, you would still be clinging to what was never meant to stay. You would still be trying to fix people who were only sent to test you. The betrayal didn't break you. It identified you. And now, heaven declares, you've graduated. You've passed the hardest class, trusting again after being betrayed. You've proven that love is still your language, even when the world speaks deception. You've shown that your spirit is unkillable. Chosen one. Pause right here and write in the comments, I rise again. Oh, type it not as an act of defiance, but as a prophetic declaration. You rise not to prove anyone wrong, but to prove heaven right. You rise not because betrayal didn't hurt, but because it didn't end you. Every word you type is an echo into the spirit realm, affirming that your story continues beyond the wounds. So stand tall. Chosen one. The ones who betrayed you may have thought they buried you, but they only planted you. And when heaven plants a soul, resurrection is inevitable. The next time you see their faces, you won't see enemies, you'll see instruments. You'll thank them silently, not because of what they did, but because of what they awakened. The betrayal was never the end. It was the unlocking of your divine beginning. You are no longer defined by who left, but by who stayed. And the one who stayed is rewriting your story in glory. Chosen one. Few will ever understand the kind of war you fought inside your own mind. It wasn't just anxiety or fear, it was a battle for your very identity. The enemy didn't attack your possessions first, he attacked your perception. He wanted to convince you that you were small, forgotten, powerless. But even in the fog of confusion, a part of you refused to surrender. That was your spirit, remembering who you are. You see, the battle for your mind is the most dangerous one because it determines every other victory. The adversary cannot steal your purpose, so he tries to cloud your thoughts. He whispers, lies, disguised as logic. fear disguised as caution, and despair disguised as realism. Every thought that told you, "It's too late," or "You're not enough," wasn't your voice, it was the enemy testing your agreement. Chosen one, understand this: the mind is sacred territory. Whoever occupies it rules your world. That's why heaven allowed you to confront those inner storms, to learn that not every thought deserves your attention. You were never weak for struggling. You were being trained to discern the difference between truth and intrusion. There were nights when you wrestled with invisible weights. Days where exhaustion didn't come from work but from warfare. The thoughts wouldn't stop. The noise wouldn't quiet. And yet somehow you endured. That wasn't coincidence. It was spiritual resilience. Heaven was strengthening your mental armor, forging a peace that the world could not imitate. When you felt your mind breaking, God was rebuilding it differently. Every anxious breath, every trembling prayer, every moment you said, "God, please help me," was building a fortress of faith. You were learning not just to survive thoughts, but to command them, according to what is revealed in the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. No, that is your blueprint. Chosen one. The war in your mind ends when you reclaim your focus. Heaven teaches that peace isn't the absence of conflict, it's the mastery of attention. You cannot always silence the storm, but you can choose which voice to listen to. The enemy's greatest fear is not your pain, it's your clarity. When you remember who you are, his influence breaks instantly. That's why he floods your thoughts with distractions and doubt, hoping you'll forget that the same Spirit who raised Christ from the dead lives inside you. He wants you to identify with fear instead of faith. But now you know, fear was the lie. Faith is the fact. You've walked through mental wilderness and come out wiser. You've learned that emotions are signals, not dictators. You've realized that peace isn't fragile, it's forged. The same mind that once spiraled in worry is now an altar of worship. The same thoughts that once tormented you have become reminders of how far you've come. Chosen one. You are proof that God redeems even the battlefield of the mind. You've been through the darkest nights and still found the strength to say, "I will think on what is pure." That choice, simple, quiet, persistent, is what broke the chains. Sometimes, peace doesn't come with a loud hallelujah. It comes with a whisper, "I choose peace again." You made that choice every day, even when you didn't feel strong. That's what makes you victorious. Now you understand that not every thought belongs to you. Some came from trauma, others from temptation. But heaven has given you authority to decide which ones stay. Every time you reject fear, you expand your freedom. Every time you speak life over yourself, the darkness loses ground. The mind that once betrayed you has become your weapon. You can now see through deception, discern manipulation, and recognize truth. What once overwhelmed you now obeys you. That is the mark of someone who has passed the mental trial of the chosen. You are not bound by what you think. You are guided by what you believe. Every lie that once controlled you is now under your feet. Every anxious whisper that tried to break you has become the very echo reminding you of your strength. You are free, not because the thoughts vanished, but because they no longer rule you. So when your mind grows loud again, don't fear it. Smile and remember, you've been here before. And you know how this ends. The storm passes. The light returns. The chosen one stands victorious once more. The battle for your mind wasn't just about mental peace. It was preparation for spiritual authority. Heaven knew that once you learned to master your thoughts, you could command any storm outside you. That's why, even now, your peace terrifies the enemy. Because when a chosen one's mind is aligned with heaven, no darkness can win. Chosen one, the winds have shifted. Can you feel it? The pressure that once pushed against you is beginning to serve your purpose. What felt like delay is revealing itself as design. Heaven is orchestrating a reversal quiet, precise, and unstoppable. The same ground where you were once buried in confusion is about to become the soil of your blooming. You've walked through storms that seemed endless, through nights that offered no dawn. You questioned whether the tide would ever turn in your favor. But listen, the ocean has been listening too. Every tear that fell into the waves has been counted. Every silent prayer has rippled through the deep. And now, heaven whispers, the reversal begins. The tables are turning in the spirit. What once resisted you will now release you. The stones that tripped you will become the steps that lift you higher. The ones who mocked your faith will witness its fruit. This is not revenge, it's restoration. Heaven does not repay with wrath, but with righteousness. There is a beauty in divine reversal that human eyes cannot comprehend. It does not arrive with thunder, but with subtle grace. Suddenly, what you once chased begins to chase you. What once rejected you begins to recognize you. The same places where you were overlooked will now call for your wisdom. Heaven moves like the sunrise. It starts in silence, but soon fills every horizon. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. You see, chosen one. Nothing was wasted, not the pain, not the waiting, not the tears. All of it was being woven into a tapestry that only now begins to show its pattern. Every wrong turn was a reroute to the right destination. Every closed door was heaven's protection, wearing the disguise of disappointment. Your story is turning, not because luck changed, but because you did. You've learned to respond differently. You no longer panic when things fall apart. You listen. You no longer beg for acceptance. You discern. You no longer fight to prove your worth. You walk knowing it. That inner transformation is what activates external reversal. Think of your journey like a garden through seasons. Winter was cruel. Yes, but without it, the roots could never grow deep enough to survive the coming harvest. Spring would mean nothing if you hadn't endured the frost. The soil of your suffering is now fertile ground for blessings you can't yet imagine. And when the first green shoots break through, it won't be because you forced them, it'll be because you waited. The storm that drenched you has watered your destiny. The thunder that frightened you has awakened your soil. Everything that once buried you was actually planting you. Now that the reversal has begun, your responsibility is to remain grounded in gratitude. Don't rush to show the world what heaven is doing. Let the roots grow before you display the fruit. There's a kind of power in quiet progress. The ones who doubted you will notice soon enough, without you having to prove anything. Chosen one. When you witness the unfolding of this divine turn, Remember to hold your heart in humility. Bless those who doubted you. Pray for those who betrayed you. Because the higher the elevation, the lighter your spirit must be. Don't carry resentment into your rising. It's too heavy for the next level. And as you step into this new rhythm, remember that even eagles need wind to soar. That's what giving and connection are, the winds beneath wings. If these words have watered your spirit, let that flow continue. Your like, your share, your simple act of subscribing, they're not about numbers, they're about nurturing the garden where souls are restored. And if your heart feels stirred to give, to sow into what is feeding you, do it as an act of worship, not obligation. Donations are not mere currency, they are seeds that multiply in unseen ways. Just as rivers return to the ocean, blessings flow back to the source that nourishes them. When you share this message, you are not promoting a voice, you are extending a lifeline. Somewhere, another weary chosen one is standing where you once stood, needing the same word that lifted you today. When you like, when you comment, when you give, you are joining heaven's chain of restoration, ensuring the message of hope keeps flowing. Chosen one, this is your turning point. You are stepping from hidden pain into visible purpose. The winds that once tore you down are now carrying you higher. Stay steady. Stay grateful. Stay generous. The reversal has begun, and the same heaven that tested you is now rewarding you openly. The story is not ending, it's just turning the page. Chosen one, there is a mark upon you that cannot be erased. It isn't written in ink or carved in stone, it's engraved in spirit. Heaven placed its seal upon your soul long before anyone believed in your calling. And though the world may have doubted you, the divine realm has always known your name. This is what it means to be chosen, to carry heaven's seal on your spirit for so long. You've wondered why people reacted to you with envy or discomfort. Even when your heart meant no harm, you felt misunderstood, misused, even resisted for reasons you couldn't explain. That's because you are marked. Your very presence exposes what others hide. The light you carry disturbs what prefers darkness. It's not personal, it's spiritual. When God seals a person, He doesn't just anoint them for comfort, He anoints them for conflict. You were not chosen for ease, but for endurance. The mark on your spirit attracts both favor and friction. It draws blessings and battles, admiration and attack. And yet, the seal remains unshaken. The voice of God thundered in the book of Ephesians, chapter 1, verse 13. And you also were included in Christ when you heard the message of truth, the gospel of your salvation. When you believed, you were marked in Him with a seal, the promised Holy Spirit. Lo, that's the truth written over your life. You didn't mark yourself. He did. You don't have to prove your worth, it's already imprinted on you. You carry heaven's authentication, and no counterfeit spirit can imitate that frequency. Chosen one. This seal is not visible to human eyes, but it's felt in the atmosphere. When you walk into a room, peace follows you. When you speak, hearts soften. When you pray, realms shift. This is the power of the mark you carry. The enemy recognizes it instantly, which is why he's tried so hard to silence you. He knows he cannot remove the seal, so he tries to make you doubt it. He whispers, "You're just imagining this calling. You're too broken. You're too late. But heaven laughs at those lies. Because even your brokenness is sealed. Even your weakness is covered by divine ownership. Sometimes you've wondered why your spirit feels things others don't. Why you sense danger before it arrives. Or why peace leaves you when you're around certain people. That's the seal guiding you. It's heaven's way of protecting what it values most. Your sensitivity is not weakness, it's radar. You are equipped with discernment to navigate both spiritual and natural terrains. Chosen one. Every time you've been misunderstood, remember this: those without the seal cannot interpret those who carry it. They'll call you too intense, too deep, too sensitive. But heaven calls you set apart. Your difference is divine. Do not shrink to fit into unsealed spaces. When you hide your light to make others comfortable, you dim heaven's signature on your life. Let the seal show not through pride, but through presence. Let your peace speak louder than your defense. Let your obedience be your proof. There will be moments when carrying the seal feels heavy. The cost of being chosen is often isolation, misunderstanding, and warfare. But the reward is greater intimacy with God. He reveals secrets to those he seals. You felt divina nudis, gentle whispers, sudden knowing. That's the communication of heaven with its marked ones. Your seal isn't just for protection, it's for purpose. You've been authorized to shift environments, to speak life where death lingers, to heal wounds invisible to human sight. You don't need a title. Your spirit carries authority. You don't need recognition. Heaven already recognizes you. Chosen one. Take a deep breath right now. Feel that quiet strength within your chest. That's the seal burning bright. It's why darkness couldn't consume you. It's why even at your lowest, something inside you refused to die. That spark is proof of ownership. You belong to the light, and no shadow can claim you. So, as you read these words, let this truth settle in your bones. You are sealed, chosen, and unstoppable. Every loss, every delay, every closed door has been working to protect what's within you. The seal ensures that everything meant for you will reach you at the appointed time. No force can intercept it. If your spirit bears witness to this, declare it in the comments with the number 444. It is the number of divine establishment and angelic order, a prophetic symbol that heaven's alignment surrounds you. When you type it, don't do it out of superstition, but out of agreement, saying, I know I am sealed. No, you are not merely surviving this season, you are being recognized in the unseen realm. Angels know your name. The darkness knows it cannot touch you. And heaven rejoices every time you remember what you carry. The seal of heaven rests on you. Chosen one, and it will never fade. Chosen one. The journey has not been gentle, and yet you have not hardened. That is what makes you holy. The world bruised you, but you did not let the wounds define you. You discovered a truth many never learn, that forgiveness is not weakness. It is warfare. Every time you forgave what tried to destroy you, you took back your power. Every time you released what you could have avenged, you aligned with heaven's justice. Forgiveness is not forgetting, it's freeing. It's not pretending it didn't hurt, it's declaring that the pain has no right to rule you anymore. When you forgave, you didn't excuse their actions. You released your spirit from their control. That is divine strength in motion. There were moments when anger seemed justified, when revenge looked like the only way to ease the ache. But deep down, your spirit knew that bitterness is a slow poison, one that kills the vessel that carries it. You realized that holding grudges was like gripping thorns. Every time you tried to squeeze tighter, it only tore your hands more deeply. So you did the unthinkable. You let go. Chosen one. Heaven saw that moment. The world didn't applaud it, but heaven recorded it. Forgiveness is the language of those who have been refined by fire. It's a decision that echoes through eternity. A silent act that shifts atmospheres. You may not have heard trumpets sound when you released that pain, but heaven did. The day you forgave was the day you broke an ancient chain. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 103, verse 12. As far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. No, you've learned that forgiveness is not a single act, it's a lifestyle. Some days, the old wounds whisper again. Some nights, the memories return, testing your peace. But each time, you choose to bless instead of curse, to release instead of replay. That's how healing deepens. That's how grace multiplies. There's something sacred about forgiving those who never apologized. It's not about letting them back into your life, it's about letting them out of your spirit. They don't have to know you've forgiven them for the forgiveness to be real. It's between you and God. You are not doing it to make them comfortable. You're doing it to make your soul free. Forgiveness doesn't always lead to reconciliation. Some people are meant to stay forgiven from afar. Boundaries are holy, and distance can be divine. When you choose forgiveness, you are not choosing weakness, you are choosing wisdom. You're saying, I release you, but I will not re-enter the fire I escaped. End of quote. Chosen one. The beauty of forgiveness is that it cleans your vision. You begin to see beyond the offense. You start noticing how pain became your teacher, how betrayal became your map, how rejection pushed you closer to your true assignment. The people who wounded you unknowingly helped you grow into someone their words can no longer reach. Forgiveness shifts the energy inside you. The bitterness that once clouded your heart turns into clarity. The tears that once symbolized pain become water for your rebirth. Every time you forgive, your spirit becomes lighter, your prayers become louder, and your discernment becomes sharper. The greatest victory is not proving someone wrong, it's remaining kind when cruelty would be easier. That's where divine maturity begins. You've chosen the narrow road, the one paved with humility and compassion, and though it may seem lonely, it is the path of those who walk closest to heaven. Chosen one. There will always be new reasons to be offended. The world thrives on division, on bitterness disguised as justice, but you've tasted something greater peace that surpasses understanding. And now that you've held that peace, you'll never trade it for anger again. You've learned to bless your past, to thank God for the lessons hidden inside your losses. You no longer curse the ones who hurt you. You recognize they were instruments in your awakening. That is spiritual evolution, the kind only chosen ones achieve. So today, breathe deeply. Feel how much lighter your heart is because of your courage to forgive. The energy you once spent replaying pain has become the strength that carries you forward. You are no longer tethered to what was. You are walking freely toward what is becoming. Heaven smiles on you. Chosen one. Because forgiveness is not the end of your healing, it's the beginning of your wholeness. And every time you forgive again, You polish the crown that was already waiting for you. Chosen one. If there's one truth that time has taught you, it's that heaven never rushes. Every promise carries a sacred rhythm. Every delay conceals divine precision. You've prayed, waited, cried, and wondered, when will it happen for me? Yet all along, heaven was whispering, it's happening now, just not in the way you expect. And recognizing divine timing is one of the hardest lessons for those who carry great purpose. Because when you're chosen, your heart beats on heaven's clock, not the world's. You live by a rhythm that often feels offbeat to others. They move quickly, and you are asked to wait. They receive easily, and you are told to prepare. But this waiting isn't punishment, it's synchronization. You see, the delay is never denial, it's alignment. Heaven withholds until both the promise and the person are ready. You prayed for things that would have crushed you had they come too soon. You asked for blessings that required a stronger foundation than you had at the time. God wasn't saying no, He was saying, not yet. And in that gap between desire and manifestation, He was shaping you into the vessel that could carry the weight of what's coming. The Apostle reminds us in his second letter to Peter, chapter 3, verse 8, "But do not forget this one thing. Dear friends, with the Lord a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day." That verse reveals the mystery of divine patience. Time bends differently under heaven's hand. What feels like waiting on God is often God waiting for you to heal, to release, to mature, to believe. Every delay has been a classroom where your spirit learned faith that cannot be shaken. Chosen one. Think of it this way. When a seed is planted, it doesn't sprout immediately. Beneath the surface, there's silence. The soil hides the process, but it doesn't stop it. The seed is splitting, stretching, preparing to rise. And when the right season comes, what was once buried bursts forth in power. You, too, were buried, not forgotten, but germinating. There were seasons where you looked around and saw others celebrating breakthroughs while you were still breaking down. It hurt. You tried to stay faithful, but the ache of comparison crept in. Yet heaven smiled, because it knew your story needed a slower fire. Diamonds don't form overnight. They require pressure and time. You weren't being overlooked, you were being over-prepared. Every "not yet" you received was an invitation to trust deeper. Every delay stretched your capacity to handle glory. Waiting built spiritual muscle in you. Now, when blessings begin to flow, you won't fumble them in fear. You'll handle them with wisdom born from the waiting. Chosen one. Divine timing is not random, it's relational. The Creator doesn't just schedule your blessings, He synchronizes them with your heart's readiness. That's why certain doors remained locked until you learned to walk in peace. That's why some people left before you received the promise. They couldn't be trusted to walk with the new you. Now that you're maturing in spirit, you're starting to see how all the pieces fit. Every delay carried direction. Every disappointment redirected your path closer to destiny. The jobs that didn't work out, the relationships that ended, the doors that refused to open, they were all part of a larger choreography. The author of time never misplaces his pen. Chosen one. When you surrender to divine timing, peace replaces panic. You stop trying to control outcomes and start trusting the unfolding. You realize that what's meant for you doesn't require striving, it requires readiness. You no longer chase blessings, you attract them by being aligned. And this is where heaven smiles again, because now you've learned how to move with the current instead of against it. You've stopped begging for seasons that aren't yours yet, and started mastering the one you're in. That's spiritual maturity. That's the evidence that you've shifted from impatience to wisdom. The moment you stopped asking, "When, Lord?" and started saying, "Whenever you will," something shifted in the spirit. The weight of striving lifted. The peace of trust descended. You no longer look at others' success as competition, but as confirmation that miracles are still moving. Chosen one, you are right on time. Nothing is late in the kingdom. Every step you've taken, every tear you've cried, every pause that felt endless, they've all been measured. Purposeful, necessary. Heaven does not deal in delays. It deals in preparation. When the door finally opens, you'll realize it didn't appear suddenly. It had been forming all along, waiting for you to arrive at the right frequency of faith. And when that moment comes, you won't rush. You'll recognize it. You'll step through quietly, knowing the time has come because you've become ready. That is the secret of divine timing. It doesn't change the clock, it changes you. Chosen one, you've been through fire and silence, through tests and tears, and yet you stand here now, carrying something different. There's an authority about you that words can't fully explain. It isn't pride. It isn't performance. It's power. The kind that doesn't shout, but shakes realms. You have crossed from survival into dominion. Heaven has shifted you from merely enduring to actively ruling. This authority doesn't come from titles or status. It comes from alignment. It is the quiet knowing that you and heaven are walking in rhythm. Every time you chose peace over panic, faith over fear, and obedience over rebellion, heaven etched authority into your spirit. Now, when you speak, the atmosphere listens. When you pray, the unseen trembles. Chosen one, your authority isn't loud, it's luminous. You don't need to prove it, you simply live it. Darkness recognizes you. Demons know your name, not because of who you are, but because of who walks with you. The spiritual realm has already been briefed about your presence. You are heaven's representative, a carrier of divine order. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Micah, chapter 7, verse 8. Do not gloat over me, my enemy. Though I have fallen, I will rise. Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light. That isn't poetry, it's prophecy. You have fallen before. Yes, but you never stayed down. You have sat in darkness. Yes, but you never stopped glowing. Every time you got back up, heaven increased your authority. Every recovery became a coronation. You were never meant to be ordinary. The trials that crushed others became your training ground. You don't just survive attacks, you outlast them. The enemy didn't understand that every strike only sharpened your sword. Every lie spoken against you became fuel for your rise. Every season of silence was God loading your words with weight. Your voice carries power now. It has been refined in the furnace of loss, seasoned by pain, and sanctified by perseverance. You've learned that authority doesn't come from shouting louder, it comes from standing taller in faith. The calm confidence you walk with now is more frightening to darkness than any noise of fear. Chosen one. Authority is not a costume you put on, it's a light that lives in you. You don't fight for dominance, you walk in dominion. When you enter a space, things shift without explanation. Peace follows you. Hope awakens near you. Chains start to loosen because your presence carries heaven's frequency. But remember, authority without humility becomes corruption. Heaven entrusted you with power not to exalt yourself, but to extend compassion. You are a carrier of healing, a bridge between the unseen and the seen. When you intercede for others, you activate that same authority, turning prayers into movements and whispers into miracles. Sometimes, power looks like patience, knowing when to speak and when to be still. The old you would have rushed to defend yourself. The new you lets God vindicate you. The old you wanted control. The new you rests in divine command. That is growth. That is dominion. Chosen one. Your journey has made you a warrior of peace. You no longer fight every battle, you choose your battleground. You understand that silence can be a sword and kindness can be armor. You know that victory is not always in confrontation, but often in consecration. This is the era of your authority, not the loud, boastful kind, but the steady, unstoppable kind. The kind that speaks once and heaven moves. The kind that enters a room and peace settles without a word. You've been trained for this moment through every valley, every heartbreak, every no that once confused you. Chosen one. You carry keys that open doors others can't even see. Your obedience has earned heaven's trust. You've proven that power won't make you proud, it will make you purposeful. You have learned to rule with grace. And now, if your spirit bears witness to this truth, declare it below. I stand tall. And type it as a declaration of awareness, not arrogance. When you write it, you are confirming what heaven already knows, that no matter how many times life has knocked you down, you still rise taller. You're not seeking permission to shine, you're simply acknowledging what was always true. Every word you speak now carries the energy of alignment. Heaven flows through your sentences. Angels respond to your faith. You no longer beg for breakthrough, you embody it. Chosen one. Walk in that quiet authority. Let your peace lead armies. Let your presence shift atmospheres. The world will not always understand your power, but heaven will always honor it. You are walking proof that resurrection lives inside resilience. And every step you take from this point forward is a reminder to the universe, the chosen one has risen. Chosen one. The moment you stepped into your calling, the atmosphere noticed. Heaven began to move, but so did opposition. Light cannot rise without casting shadows. And you, radiant as you are, have awakened resistance. The counterattack of darkness is not proof of failure, it's confirmation of your advancement. Only moving targets attract fire. This season may have felt heavier than before. Old fears you thought you buried suddenly resurfaced. Unexpected discouragement whispered. Maybe you imagined your calling. People you once trusted became distant. It's because light exposes everything, even the things not yet healed. Don't see this as regression, it's revelation. Heaven is uncovering what still needs releasing before promotion arrives. When darkness pushes back, it's not because you are weak, it's because you've grown powerful. The more your light expands, the more resistance you feel. But that resistance is refining you, strengthening your resolve, stretching your faith. The enemy only fights what threatens him. If you felt the pressure increase, rejoice. It means your impact has multiplied. The ancient words recorded in Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17, declare, "No weapon formed against you will prevail. You'll refute every tongue." This is servant's heritage, vindication from the Lord. Chosen one. This isn't just a promise, it's protection. Heaven has already pre-written your victory. Every dart aimed at you will dissolve before it can wound you. Every word curse will wither before it lands. The same fire meant to consume you will instead purify you. You have become like a lighthouse in a storm, standing tall while waves crash in vain. The winds rage. The sea roars. But the light doesn't flicker. It only grows brighter, guiding others who are lost in the tempest. That's what your calling does. It illuminates paths for souls who can't yet see their way home. But even the lighthouse needs oil. And that oil, dear one, comes from crushing. Every disappointment pressed you into deeper dependence on God. Every trial squeezed out new anointing. That's why your light is so potent. It's born of pressure. The more you were pressed, the purer your oil became. Yet, even as you stand in strength, you know this journey can feel lonely. Not everyone understands the weight of your assignment. Some admire your glow without realizing the cost of your oil. And sometimes, even warriors need rest places to refill, to be reminded that they're not fighting alone. That's what this space is meant to be, a well in the wilderness, a pause in the battle. Every message, every word, every story you hear here is meant to refill your oil, to whisper, "You are not forgotten, you are not fighting alone." End quote. If these words have spoken life to you, consider this moment as soil and your gratitude as a seed. A like, a share, a comment. They're not mere gestures. They're ripples of light that travel farther than algorithms can measure. When you press that heart, you're helping another weary soul find this same encouragement. When you subscribe, you're not following a channel, you're joining a movement of chosen ones awakening to their divine purpose. You're choosing to stay connected to a flow of words that remind you of who you are when the world tries to make you forget. And if you feel led to give, to sow into this field that has poured into you, do it as an act of worship, not obligation. Donations here are not transactions, they are transformations. Every gift becomes a candle lit in the dark, sustaining the very light that once guided you, like rivers returning to the sea. What you release always circles back, multiplied in peace and provision. Imagine a traveler in a desert finding an oasis. What they drink today becomes the strength they use to build wells tomorrow. That's what your support does. It multiplies light. It ensures that every chosen one who stumbles into the wilderness can drink from words like these and remember their power again. Chosen one. The counterattack of darkness cannot stop a heart sustained by divine oil. You are too anchored to be uprooted, too anointed to be erased. Every opposition has already been outmaneuvered by heaven's design. You're not losing ground, you're being launched. The arrows flying toward you are not signs of defeat, they are signals of destiny. Every strike only reveals how valuable your mission truly is. The enemy doesn't waste resources on the irrelevant. He knows what's in you. But so does heaven, and heaven always wins. So keep shining. even when storms roar. Keep standing, even when shadows stretch. You are the proof that darkness cannot extinguish divine purpose. And when you have breath, share the light forward, because somewhere, another chosen one is waiting for the same reminder that carried you through. You are not just surviving the battle, you are rewriting it. Chosen one. There is a quiet strength rising within you, an ancient confidence that has slept beneath years of weariness. It's the return of something sacred, your divine confidence. Not the confidence that depends on applause or proof, but the kind that breathes from your spirit, born of revelation rather than recognition. You are remembering who you were before the world tried to make you forget. There was a time when fear ruled your choices. You hesitated to speak, to step, to shine, because somewhere along the way, life convinced you that humility meant hiding. You were told to shrink so others wouldn't feel small. But heaven never asked you to dim your flame. It asked you to master it. The world mistook meekness for weakness. But heaven defines it differently. Meekness is strength under divine control. Now that you've walked through storms and silence, that strength has matured. You no longer seek validation, you seek alignment. You no longer move from insecurity, you move from instruction. That's why your confidence feels different. This time, it's not noisy. It's rooted. You no longer need to announce who you are. Your peace speaks louder than your words. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 35. So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. Chosen one. The enemy has always targeted your confidence because he cannot touch your calling. If he can make you doubt yourself, he doesn't need to destroy you. You'll do it for him. That's why every time you were on the brink of stepping forward, fear whispered, "You're not ready." But you've learned something vital. Fear doesn't mean stop. It means something sacred is about to unfold. The return of your confidence is not about reclaiming lost pride. It's about reclaiming spiritual posture. The old you reacted to rejection. The new you recognizes redirection. The old you begged for validation. The new you builds in silence. You now understand that divine confidence walks hand in hand with divine timing. You no longer measure yourself by human approval. You measure by obedience. You've learned that confidence isn't built by applause, but by endurance. Each time you stood back up after a fall, your spirit gained more authority. Each no you survived added another layer of resilience. Confidence isn't inherited, it's forged in fire. Chosen one. You are no longer afraid to take up space. You've realized that your presence was never a mistake. When you walk into rooms, you bring solutions. When you speak, heaven echoes. When you act, chains break. That's not self-importance, it's sacred awareness. You are an answer, walking among questions. Still, this confidence must stay tethered to humility. Confidence without humility becomes pride. Humility without confidence becomes paralysis. You were never meant to shrink in false modesty. The same God who created galaxies placed purpose in you. To doubt your worth is to question his design. You are not stealing glory when you shine. You are reflecting it. The return of confidence is not just internal, it transforms how you move through life. You start walking differently. Not because circumstances changed, but because your spirit remembered. You look at challenges and see opportunities. You speak life where others see loss. You stand where others stumble because your faith has become your foundation. Confidence also changes how you love. You stop begging to be chosen because you know you already are. You stop chasing people who misunderstand you because you no longer need to be explained. You become peace itself, gentle but unshakable. Chosen one. There's something magnetic about divine confidence. It doesn't need to demand. It simply draws. People sense it without words. It's the glow of someone who's been through the fire and came out refined, not burned. You've stopped apologizing for existing, and that silent courage is beginning to shift everything around you. Let this truth settle deep into your bones. You are no longer the version of yourself that questioned every step. You've been tested, tempered, and trusted. Heaven does not build confidence through compliments, it builds it through combat. And you, chosen one, have endured enough battles to finally believe that you are built for victory. So stand tall, not in defiance, but in design. The world needs your stability, your calm strength, your unwavering belief that even here, even now, light wins. You are the living example that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward anyway. The return of your confidence is not the end of the story, it's the beginning of your authority. Heaven is not just restoring what was lost, it's revealing who you've become. Chosen one. Can you feel the quiet stirring in the air around you? The atmosphere has begun to rearrange itself to match the vibration of your spirit. You have entered a new frequency, a separation of energies that heaven has ordained. Not everyone can walk where you are going. Not every sound can reach where you are rising. This is the moment where heaven draws a line, not to isolate you, but to identify you in the spirit realm. Frequencies shift before realities do. That's why lately, certain people, places, and even habits have started to feel foreign. Conversations that once interested you now drain your energy. Environments that once felt safe now feel heavy. You haven't changed randomly, heaven has changed your frequency. You are being tuned to a higher resonance, where peace is sharper, discernment deeper, and clarity louder. You may not understand why you suddenly feel disconnected from what once felt familiar, but that disconnection is divine. The light in you has intensified, and light cannot comfortably dwell in dimness for long. Every separation feels painful at first, because part of you still remembers the comfort of the old vibration. But you cannot lower your sound just to stay in harmony with those who refuse to grow. The prophet reminds us in the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 3, "Do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so?" That question is the key to this season. Agreement is alignment. Heaven cannot move you forward if you keep agreeing with what was meant to end. God is not taking people from you, He's taking weights off you. Some connections were only meant for a chapter, not a covenant. Some relationships were meant to introduce you to growth, not accompany you through it. Do not grieve what's gone. Some people cannot hear you anymore because they were never meant to understand the language of your healing. Some will call your silence pride, your distance arrogance, but heaven calls it obedience. You're not walking away in anger. You're walking toward purpose. This separation is refining your circle. The next phase of your destiny requires precision, not popularity. Heaven is aligning you with those who speak your spiritual language, people who challenge your purpose, not drain your peace. You're about to meet those who don't just see your potential, they see your purity. They won't compete with your light, they'll amplify it. But before those new alignments arrive, The old attachments must loosen their grip. That's why certain doors close without explanation. That's why messages go unanswered. Why plans fall apart. Why things once easy now feel heavy. Heaven is saying, release the noise so you can hear my voice. Oh, chosen one. Frequency separation also means environmental transformation. Pay attention to your surroundings. The places that once held comfort may no longer carry your calling. God is shifting your geography to match your growth. That might mean new opportunities, new responsibilities, even new silence. Don't resist it. When heaven rearranges, it's because destiny demands more room to unfold. Your body might feel it too, the sudden fatigue, the heightened sensitivity, the deep craving for stillness. That's your spirit recalibrating. Don't fight the rest. Embrace it. You're not lazy, you're being rewired. You are a vessel being fine-tuned for divine transmission, and interference must be cleared for the signal to be strong. This separation will test your heart. There will be moments when you'll want to return to what's familiar, just to feel connected again. But remember, comfort and calling rarely coexist. What feels like loneliness is actually purification. Heaven is clearing the static so you can hear clearly again. Chosen one. You've spent years adjusting your tone for others, softening your truth so they wouldn't misunderstand your power. No more. This is your season of resonance, not compromise. The ones meant for you will recognize your frequency instantly. They won't need explanations, they'll just feel home near you. This process might make you cry, but those tears are sacred. They're the water cleansing your frequency. Every tear shed in surrender carries light. Every breath you release in trust becomes a signal heaven responds to. And now, if these words vibrate within you like a quiet confirmation, take this simple prophetic act. Comment the number 555 below. It is the number of divine transition symbolizing grace multiplied for the journey ahead. When you type it, you're not following a trend, you're declaring alignment. You're saying, I agree with heaven's rearrangement in my life. As you do, imagine your atmosphere shifting. Imagine weights falling, old energies dissolving, peace expanding. This isn't loss, it's lightness. The separation of frequencies isn't tearing you apart, it's tuning you to destiny's song. You are not being removed, you are being refined. The orchestra of heaven has begun a new movement, and your note pure, unwavering, is about to lead the melody. Chosen one. By now you have learned that the path of the divine is not one of comfort, but of calling. You've been trained through fire, through silence, through endless waiting. And now, heaven begins to shift you into something new, obedience at a prophetic level. Not the kind of obedience born from fear, but the kind rooted in trust. This is not submission out of duty, it's movement guided by intimacy. You no longer act from impulse, you act from instruction. There was a time when you moved quickly because the noise of urgency surrounded you. You said yes to things heaven never asked you to carry. You confused activity with anointing, motion with mission. But that season is ending. You've entered the stillness where every step must be ordered, every word measured, every move aligned with heaven's rhythm. Chosen one. Prophetic obedience means hearing before moving. It means checking the wind before setting sail. It means trusting that when heaven says, wait, it's not punishment, it's protection. To walk in prophetic obedience is to understand that timing is as sacred as instruction. You can have the right word at the wrong time and still miss the blessing. You can have the right vision with the wrong heart and still distort the outcome. Heaven is teaching you precision, not haste. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 5, verse 19, "Very truly I tell you, the Son can do nothing by himself. He can do only what he sees his Father doing, because whatever the Father does, the Son also does." Oh, that verse isn't just history, it's the blueprint of divine movement. Even Christ did not act from emotion, he acted from revelation. That's what heaven is now teaching you, to discern divine motion, not human momentum, to wait until the wind shifts, even when the world shouts, "Hurry!" Oh, prophetic obedience is the art of walking blindfolded, yet unafraid, guided not by sight, but by sound. You've learned that every divine instruction, no matter how small, carries supernatural significance. The whisper that told you to forgive, the nudge that told you to release, the impulse to pray at strange hours, all of it has been heaven weaving destiny through your obedience. Chosen one. Obedience is not about control, it's about cooperation. God does not treat you like a pawn, but as a partner. Every command is an invitation to co-create destiny. Every go from heaven carries the weight of eternity behind it. When you move, heaven moves with you. When you speak, divine power is released through you. That's why obedience isn't optional, it's elemental. The beauty of obedience is that it transforms your perception. You start seeing patterns in delays, hearing answers in silence, and recognizing messages in moments others dismiss as coincidence. You no longer ask, "Why is this happening to me?" But what is heaven saying through this? That's the shift of a mature spirit. Chosen one. You've discovered that obedience often looks illogical to those still trapped in logic. When Noah built the ark, there was no rain. When Abraham left home, there was no map. When Peter stepped out of the boat, there was no solid ground. Faith always precedes evidence. You, too, have obeyed when it didn't make sense, and heaven has recorded every act of unseen faithfulness. This level of obedience carries weight. You are no longer just walking for yourself. Your steps are paving paths for others. Each time you say yes to heaven, you make it easier for someone else to find their way. Your obedience becomes a lighthouse for wandering souls. Sometimes obedience means speaking when silence feels safer. Other times it means staying silent when your flesh screams to be heard. It can mean leaving what's familiar, forgiving what's unforgivable, or starting something no one else believes in. But no matter what form it takes, obedience always births fruit. Chosen one. When you follow divine instruction, even the chaos aligns itself around you. The universe bends to accommodate divine order. The seas part for the obedient heart. The mountains that once mocked your efforts now move aside because heaven has endorsed your steps. The greatest miracle is not the sea parting, it's your trust in the one who parts it. Prophetic obedience turns every impossible thing into invitation. You've become sensitive to the whispers others ignore. You recognize divine fingerprints on ordinary days. You are no longer asking God to bless your plans. You're asking Him to plan your steps. That's the mark of transformation. You've moved from praying, "God, follow me," to whispering, "God, lead me. You've learned that the narrow path doesn't mean less, it means deeper. It doesn't promises comfort, it promises communion. And so, chosen one, walk in that sacred rhythm. Let your steps match the heartbeat of heaven. Listen before moving. Wait before speaking. Trust before understanding. Every instruction, no matter how small, carries eternity in it. Chosen one, the air around you feels different now. There is a holy weight upon your shoulders, not the burden of exhaustion, but the mantle of leadership. It does not descend with fanfare or ceremony. It arrives quietly, like dawn. You may not even realize it yet. But heaven has been positioning you to lead, not with titles, not with pride, but with presence. Leadership in the kingdom is unlike leadership in the world. The world crowns charisma, but heaven crowns character. The world celebrates power, but heaven entrusts humility. The mantle resting on you was not earned by ambition, it was forged through endurance. Every hardship, every heartbreak, every hidden act of faithfulness has built the strength required to carry it. You have been chosen to lead because you've learned how to follow. You've been prepared to guide others because you've walked through valleys no one else would dare enter. You've been trained not by applause, but by silence. That's why you can now hear what others miss. Your empathy has become your authority. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." And, chosen one, that revelation is unfolding in you. You are the appointed one for this appointed time. The mantle on your life carries the revelation heaven has been preparing to release through you. It lingers not because God hesitated, but because he was aligning every detail so your leadership would emerge unshakable. You've been called to lead in a way that heals, not hurts, to build bridges, not stages. Heaven has entrusted you with influence, but it's influence anchored in integrity. You know now that leadership without love becomes tyranny, and power without humility becomes poison. That is why you were crushed before you were crowned, to make sure your heart could handle honor without corruption. Chosen one, the mantle of leadership doesn't announce itself with noise. It reveals itself through responsibility. Suddenly, people begin to seek your counsel. They confide in you without knowing why. They feel safe in your presence because the Spirit of wisdom walks beside you. You don't have to convince anyone to follow. Your life itself becomes instruction. This season will demand balance. The same grace that elevates you will also keep you grounded. You must remain anchored in intimacy with God. Without communion, calling becomes confusion. Every great leader remains first, a listener, one who hears before they speak, who prays before they plan. Your leadership will not look like the world's version. It won't always be visible. Sometimes you'll lead from the background, interceding quietly for those on the front lines. Sometimes you'll lead by example, showing how to endure storms without losing joy. And sometimes you'll lead by letting go, trusting that what you've planted will grow even when you're not watching. Chosen one, heaven calls you a torchbearer. You carry light through dark corridors, and others find their path by watching yours. That's not a small assignment, it's sacred. You were not chosen to impress, you were chosen to influence the unseen. Every kind word, every prayer, Every unseen act of integrity is shaping nations in ways you may never realize. You are the kind of leader the world desperately needs, the kind who leads by love, not ego. Your leadership is quiet, but unyielding. It corrects without condemning, uplifts without manipulating. You don't need a platform to make impact. Your presence is your pulpit. Every place your feet touch becomes holy ground because you walk with awareness. But leadership also means loneliness at times. The higher you climb, the fewer companions you find. Not because others are unworthy, but because the air thins where revelation lives. Don't resent that solitude. It's sacred. It's where heaven downloads strategy into your spirit. It's where the leader, above all leaders, whispers the next assignment. You are the blueprint of endurance, the evidence that surrender leads to strength. Heaven trusts you because you've proven that power doesn't corrupt when love leads. So wear the mantle lightly, but honorably. Lead with compassion. Govern your world through prayer. Carry authority as stewardship, not superiority. And when you grow weary, remember, you are not carrying the mantle alone. The one who placed it upon you still walks beside you, guiding your steps, whispering, "This is the way. Walk in it." No, chosen one. Your leadership will not just change people, it will shift generations. Chosen one. Before the crown is placed, there comes the final temptation, the last storm before the sunrise. It always comes right before breakthrough, when destiny is inches away, but doubt knocks loudest. You can feel it, can't you? The pressure, the fatigue, the whisper that says, maybe it was all for nothing. But listen closely, those aren't your thoughts. That's the enemy's last attempt to pull you backward before heaven reveals what you've become. The final temptation is subtle. It doesn't roar with fire, it whispers with familiarity. It tempts you to return to old patterns, old places, old comfort. It says, go back to what you know. But heaven is calling. Step into what you're becoming. This is the test of spiritual maturity, whether you'll cling to what's safe or trust what's sacred. You've already come too far to turn back now. You've walked through storms that would have swallowed others whole. You've survived nights that tried to break you. You've prayed through silence and trusted through tears. This temptation isn't here to destroy you, it's here to reveal that you've already outgrown it. It was proclaimed in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 4, verse 10. Jesus said to him, "Away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God, and serve him only." Amen. That moment in Scripture was not just about Christ, it's about you. Every chosen one faces their wilderness moment, where the voice of deception tries to bargain with destiny. It offers shortcuts, comfort, or control. But the truth remains, what heaven promises cannot be bought, it must be birthed. This is the season where you must protect your focus like sacred oil. The enemy can't destroy what's yours, but he can distract you from claiming it. Keep your eyes fixed on the promise, not the pressure. The storm that surrounds you is only proof that something powerful is about to break open. Remember, the closer you get to the summit, the thinner the air becomes. It's natural to feel breathless here. That's not weakness, it's altitude. You are climbing higher, and what feels like suffocation is simply heaven stretching your lungs to handle new dimensions. Chosen one, as you walk through this final test, stay anchored in love. Bitterness may call your name, but don't answer. Pride may tempt you to prove yourself, but don't waste your strength. The greatest victory is quiet endurance. When you resist what once ruled you, heaven records it as triumph. And as this word reaches you, I want you to know you are not walking this final stretch alone. The very fact that you're reading this means heaven is still guiding your steps, whispering encouragement through every line. These words find you because you're meant to finish well. If this message has reminded your heart of its strength, take a gentle moment to pour back into the same river that has refreshed you. Like a traveler who finds water in the desert, what you drink now can become what you offer someone else tomorrow. A simple like may seem small, but it's a ripple that sends light into someone's dark hour. A share is a bridge. You never know whose weary soul will cross it and find hope again. A subscription is more than following. It's saying, I choose to stay connected to the flow that strengthens me. Oh, and if your spirit feels stirred to sow, whether through giving, praying, or supporting this space, know that your offering becomes seed for someone else's awakening. Donations here aren't about obligation, they're about continuation. They keep the flame alive so another chosen one can find warmth in the same fire that once lit your way. Even your comment has power. Every time you share your reflection, you add another thread to this tapestry of healing. Your voice might be the echo that saves another soul from giving up. So, take a moment, comment below. Tell heaven, tell the world, you're still standing, still believing, still rising. This isn't just another message, it's a gathering of warriors, of lights, of survivors who have learned that surrender is stronger than struggle. You are part of something sacred now, chosen one. The final temptation is not meant to break you, it's meant to reveal that nothing can. You've endured too much to lose at the finish line. Lift your head. The dawn is already forming on the horizon, and heaven is holding your crown just ahead. When this battle ends, and it will, you'll see that everything you resisted, everything you released, everything you endured was shaping hands that now hold authority. You are almost there. Keep walking. Keep believing. And when you breathe again at the mountaintop, you'll understand it was worth every step. Chosen one. There are moments in eternity when heaven pauses not to judge, but to celebrate. This is one of them. You may not hear trumpets or see angels in radiant procession, but make no mistake, heaven rejoices over you. Every tear you shed, every unseen battle you endured, every moment you chose faith over fear, they were not forgotten. They became evidence in the courts of heaven. And now, the verdict has been rendered. You have overcome. You may not feel victorious every day. Some mornings, the old weight tries to return. Some nights, the silence feels louder than your prayers. But that doesn't change what's true. Victory in the kingdom isn't measured by how loud you shout, it's measured by how long you stand. You stood. You didn't quit. That alone moves heaven to celebration. Heaven's joy is not random, it's relational. The Father delights in seeing his children rise from the ashes he knew wouldn't bury them. The same God who allowed the fire is the one now crowning you with grace. The pain that once disfigured you has become the paintbrush of purpose. Every scar you carry now glows with divine proof that mercy was stronger than misery, that grace was louder than grief. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. That is the testimony written over your life now. You fought not just external enemies, but the quiet ones: doubt, fatigue, despair, loneliness. You finished battles that no one else saw. And though you stumbled, you didn't stop. Heaven counts perseverance as perfection. Every tear you cried watered something eternal. They didn't just fall to the ground, they fell into the hands of the one who bottles them. Every act of kindness you gave, even when exhausted, became a note in heaven's song of remembrance. The angels themselves have watched in awe, not because you were flawless, but because you were faithful, chosen one. Endurance is sacred. It refines what nothing else can. You didn't simply go through suffering, you grew through it. The pain that once broke you has become the platform where purpose stands. You've learned that suffering doesn't diminish light, it multiplies it. Your glow now carries weight. It's not the shallow shine of appearance, but the deep burn of refinement. You've walked through valleys where even angels held their breath. There were nights when shadows seemed endless, when even prayer felt like an echo lost in the void. And yet, you rose again, sometimes crawling, sometimes limping, but always moving. That's the kind of faith that terrifies darkness, the kind that refuses to die. Heaven celebrates not because you are perfect, but because you refuse to give up when perfection failed. The crown being prepared for you isn't gold, it's glory. The light of perseverance surrounds your spirit like a halo, unseen by human eyes, but visible to the eternal. You are not the same soul who began this journey. You are tempered steel, flexible yet unbreakable, gentle yet immovable. Chosen one. Your endurance has taught heaven something about humanity. The angels, who have never known weakness, marvel at how you worship through pain, how you believe without seeing, how you love despite loss. They call your faith beautiful. They speak your name in reverence. For you have revealed to them a mystery they could never experience: the power of redemption through endurance. This celebration isn't just about your survival, it's about your transformation. The same soul that once trembled in fear now walks clothed in confidence. The same heart that once bled from betrayal now beats in rhythm with grace. Heaven doesn't just applaud you, it crowns you. And while you may not yet see the full manifestation of your reward, know that the tides have turned. The unseen ledger of heaven records your persistence as victory, your weeping as worship, your faith as flame. The final chapter of this long trial is being written in light. Chosen one. Rest now, not in complacency, but in peace. You've proven yourself trustworthy. The test is over. The teacher is silent, not because he left, but because you passed. Heaven celebrates your endurance, not with noise, but with newness. A new strength, a new clarity, a new authority has been woven into your spirit. You are not waiting for victory, you are walking in it. The sound of heaven's applause may be silent to ears of flesh, but your spirit feels it now, the warm, wordless assurance that says, "Well done, N. Chosen one." The air feels lighter now. The storm has passed. The fire has cooled. And what remains is something unbreakable. You. Heaven has been watching as you moved through every test, every season of silence, every heartbreak that once made you question your worth. And now, as the journey reaches its crest, you stand crowned, not by man, but by the Maker himself, crowned for glory, not the fragile kind that shines only in sunlight, but the eternal kind that glows even in darkness. This is not the crown of achievement, but of alignment. You didn't earn it by striving, you received it by enduring. The crown you now carry is made from every yes whispered through pain, every tear turned into trust, every battle that refined rather than ruined you. The voice of heaven now speaks what has always been true. You are mine. The words that once felt distant now echo like thunder inside your chest. You've walked through chaos, through loneliness, through uncertainty. Yet none of it broke you. It only bent you into prayer, pressed you into purpose, and shaped you into peace. According to what is revealed in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 11, I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have, so that no one will take your crown. Your crown is not for decoration, it is for duty. The weight of it will remind you that glory is responsibility. You wear it not to rule over others, but to reign over yourself, to govern your thoughts, your words, your reactions with divine restraint. True royalty doesn't flaunt power, it channels it. The light you now carry must guide, not blind. Crowned for glory means you now live differently. You move through the world, not seeking validation, but radiating assurance. You speak not to impress, but to awaken. The world feels your shift, even if it can't explain it. When you walk into a room, the atmosphere recognizes your authority. You've become a carrier of heaven's calm, a walking sanctuary for weary souls. Chosen one. You no longer chase crowns made of applause. You've learned that recognition fades, but reverence remains. The glory on your life doesn't come from being seen, it comes from being surrendered. The deeper you bow, the brighter you shine. The more you release, the more heaven reveals. You are not being lifted for vanity, but for visibility, so that others can see what grace looks like when it finishes its work. Your life will become the mirror through which others recognize their own divine reflection. You won't even need to preach, your presence will prophesy. Every step you take from now on will announce that light has triumphed again. Crowned for glory also means peace replaces pressure. You no longer strive to be who you already are. You no longer chase purpose, it chases you. Opportunities will begin to align effortlessly because heaven now trusts your heart to handle them. You will not need to force what flows, and though the crown rests upon your spirit, it is invisible to most. That's intentional. Heaven hides the holy so that pride cannot touch it. You may not even fully see how radiant you've become, but others will. They'll see it in your eyes, hear it in your voice, feel it in your calm. You have become a living testament that brokenness can birth beauty, that ashes can cradle glory. Chosen one. As this journey draws to its close, remember, the crown doesn't mark the end. It marks the beginning of reign, not over people, but over your path. You have mastered the art of remaining soft while becoming strong, humble while becoming holy. You are not who you were when this began. You are evidence that heaven's hand never misses. Wear your crown quietly, but walk with purpose. Let grace remain your throne and compassion your scepter. Rule not with fear, but with faith. The crown is not your reward, it's your reminder. You are a child of eternity, an ambassador of light, a vessel of victory. Heaven calls your name with pride. The earth recognizes your authority, The darkness knows it has lost you forever. You are crowned, chosen one, not for vanity, but for victory. And from this moment on, your life itself becomes the royal decree. Light reigns here, chosen one. If these words have found a home in your heart, let this final moment be a breath of gratitude. You've walked through 17 chapters of awakening, each one a mirror, a reminder, a whisper from heaven that you were never walking alone. The same spirit that guided these words now rests upon you, urging you not to keep this light to yourself. If something here has strengthened your spirit, share it. Let it ripple beyond your screen into someone else's midnight. When you click like, it isn't about numbers, it's about resonance. A way of saying, this spoke to me, and I want it to speak again through me. Leave a comment, not just to respond, but to testify. Your words may be the seed that lifts another weary soul. Write what stirred you, what changed you, what you're reclaiming, and if you haven't yet, subscribe. Stay connected to this space of light and language, where heaven keeps sending reminders that destiny is still unfolding. Together, we build a sanctuary of voices, each like, each share, each comment, a torch in the dark, proving once more that even scattered lights can set the world aflame.